Legal experts have warned that convicted murderer Oscar Pistorius could receive less than the minimum 15-year sentence for killing his girlfriend. The Paralympian was initially found guilty of culpable homicide for shooting Reeva Steenkamp on Valentine's Day in 2013. He served less than a year behind bars, but after an appeal, his conviction was upgraded to murder. The minimum jail term handed down to convicted murderers in South Africa is 15 years. But legal sources say Pistorius may avoid this due to mitigating factors and because he's already served some time behind bars. Well, let's get you some perspective on that story now. I'm joined live from our Johannesburg studios by Clifford Gordon, a South African attorney. Clifford, thanks very much for joining us. Can you explain why it is that Pistorius may get less than the minimum 15 years in prison?
Well, in South African law, if a judge finds that there are substantial and compelling circumstances to move away from the minimum sentence in any case, and in this specific case, then that minimum sentence can be reduced to a different sentence. And in this particular case, there would possibly be substantial and compelling circumstances. For example, Oscar's disability, the fact that he has some degree of remorse and some degree of personal, so to speak, embarrassment in putting himself forward in the case and showing his vulnerability, and in that sense that vulnerability could have a problem if he's sentenced to a custodial sentence. So he might indeed be sentenced to something other than 15 years.
Now, of course, Clifford, over the past 2 years, as we've seen this case go to trial, there's been many dramatic moments, and it's finally coming to an end tomorrow. How do we see sentencing going, and what can we expect out of the courtroom?
Well, I think that the Judge Masipa will read her judgment as she has done before, and I think that it'll take a while to read, as she generally writes long and considered judgments, and I think that the outcome will probably be roughly a 12-year sentence. I think that's the pretty much the consensus amongst the legal fraternity in South Africa, that it'll be reduced from 15 to roughly 12. In which case he'll be eligible for parole after 5 years, because he has already served pretty much a year in jail.
All right, we certainly will be watching developments in that final sentencing tomorrow. Thanks very much, Clifford Gordon, live for us there in Johannesburg.